What's up, guys? Tonight we have with us Camillapanda, an absolutely amazing streamer. She streams on twitch.tv. She does all kinds of different family-friendly type games, mostly lately Pokemon Unite. Definitely check her out. She's an awesome streamer. She also does a bunch of volunteering with robotics and things like that. But tonight we're going to talk about something else. Welcome to Let's Play Death Ray. I'm David.
I'm Jake.
I'm Kyle.
And we have with us the amazing Camillapanda. You want to go ahead and introduce yourself and kind of what you do in streaming?
Sure. Hi, my name's Nikki. I go by Camillapanda on the internet, though. I'm a variety streamer. I focus a lot on charity streaming, though, because I work in the nonprofit industry, like from my day job. So once every couple months, I raise money for different charities. So far this year, I've raised money for 1,000 Dreams Fund, which is a organization that's trying to get more women and non-binary individuals into broadcasting like Twitch. I'm also lucky enough to be a grant recipient from them, so they helped me upgrade some of my equipment. And then my other fundraiser that I've run so far was St. Jude Play Live, which is their Play Live season. It's them trying to raise money for the Children's Hospital, so that way families don't have to pay a single bill and kids can go get treatment. And my community just blew me away. The big goal I had was 5,000, and then we hit that halfway through the month, and I'm like, oh, what am I gonna do now? And then we ended up with $9,550 raised. So
That's
we do
impressive.
a lot of good. Yeah, I've only been streaming for a year, so seeing that much money raised in a single month is just blows my mind. I'm so incredibly thankful.
That's amazing. I don't think we've hit that in the 4 years we've been doing Extra Life. That's amazing though. I love that. It's one of the immediate things that made me be like, oh, this is a good human being. And then we've talked a lot, in other chats, and I've grown to really appreciate your content and the stuff that you do. So it's awesome having you come on here.
It's awesome being here. It's always interesting because I knew you guys had the podcast, and I'm just like, oh, maybe I'll be asked on because I'm too awkward to be like, hey, if you ever need someone randomly, I'm right here.
Look, we're not Jordan. If people want to be on, please let me know. Do you know how hard I have to work?
Absolutely.
Like, we would love to have anyone on for the most part. But especially good people. But no, it's a lot of fun, and I'm glad you're here. And it's always great to see people who are able to accomplish that stuff, especially like Jake and I have I have a real connection with the Children's Hospital now. And no, Jordan, are you great? Go, you have your own show. Quit interrupting mine. Go away. Anyways.
Wow.
Good. Anyways, no, we have a real connection with the Children's Hospital here in Denver, which is actually in Colorado, but it's the only one really close to Wyoming. I have a lot of stuff going on in the near future with them. And Jake and we have nieces and nephews and cousins who honestly wouldn't be alive if it weren't for those hospitals. So that's actually kind of what got us into streaming as well. We haven't been quite as successful, but we managed to raise at least, between $500 to $1,000 every year. And it's what got us into this, and now we're trying to actually make it a successful career and a job to pay the bills. So it's awesome to meet another person who's passionate about that and successful with donating and raising that money for those causes, because it's an awesome thing.
For sure.
It's any dollar is a dollar more than they've had, and it's going to make sure a kid gets what they need. So it's worth it. Even if someone only ends up raising $20, it's still a lot for a family.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And that's, it's it's definitely it helps. I know we'll be down there a lot this year. Most of my community already knows kind of what's going on with that. So but on to some of my other non-charity related questions. from some of the things you sent. So I know you're into robotics. I How did you get into robotics is my first question.
Will give the story that I give my students since I mentor kids in robotics and engineering. I had a little bit of a rough childhood. I had a teacher that she was a science teacher. Like, if you can think of Miss Frizzle as like a grandmother with the lizard and everything, that was my 8th grade science teacher to a T.
That's so good.
So she saw that I was getting 100 and 110s on every single test, and eventually was just like, hey, do you want some free extra credit? Go get me 3 things from this robotics competition that's going to be on the weekend. And I was just like, well, it's okay. I kind of just want to be able to say I have like 120 in this class at this point, even though I was like not doing great as a human being. I went to the competition, and the people there were so kind to me. It was the first time I had smiled in a month. And I just turned to my dad at the end of the day and just like, so this is 3 days. Can we come back tomorrow? And then I ended up becoming the mascot for I was in middle school, so my school district's robotics team was a rookie that year. I became the mascot because I was the only one willing to get into the 6-foot-tall gorilla suit, even though I was only 4'8" at the time. So you can picture like a tiny human being in this oversized gorilla suit, just like dancing around and having a blast. And I ended up joining the robotics team. I bounced around to everything. So I tried electrical, I tried mechanical engineering, I tried programming. I ended up going the business path, but then we had a machinist come in and I learned the machinery and like doing all of that kind of stuff. So I ended up my senior year of high school machining the entirety of our robot that got 2nd place at the World Championships.
Wow.
So
Nice.
I have an entire bucket of medals at this point because I was really good in high school, and I guess I'm pretty okay at teaching, or my kids are just much smarter than I ever have been. My kids are much smarter than me. That's the real answer.
Look, I don't know about that. I just heard that story. But that's awesome. I'm always curious to see what gets people into their passions. It's always so different. We've had a lot of people on and talked to a lot of people, and it's everything from just proximity to, like you said, kind of things being rough, and it's so strange what sparks passion in people. So do you still compete in any, do you actually build anything to compete?
So there's a joke league it's not really a joke. We're kind of taking it seriously, where some of us that mentor these students in robotics from all over the country, we build robots out of cardboard. And somehow they are still extremely destructive. It's beautiful watching them blow up every single year that we have these competitions at this one brewery in Indiana. So we basically make these cardboard. It's mostly compression cardboard at this point, with a bunch of different motors and everything like that. And it's cardboard battle bots.
That is insane and sounds
That's
amazing.
awesome.
I love that you brought up BattleBots. My next question was gonna be kind of about that with these competitions, because Jake and I, we grew up watching BattleBots, and like every teenage boy in Wyoming, pretty much at that point, we were like, "Oh, we could do that. We could build a BattleBot." We couldn't. We were dumb. But we thought we could. And so it's hilarious that you bring that up. Have you ever done any actual of the actual robotics, the full metal cast, or have you just done like the cardboard BattleBot style type stuff?
The stuff with the high schoolers that I work with, it's 160-pound robots that like go up to 6 foot tall. I've had one almost crash on me, and it's not pleasant. Yeah, it is actually surprisingly dangerous for a high school sport. But I used to work for one of the main sponsors of some of the BattleBot teams. So I've sat next to Tombstone. I've seen Witch Doctor in person. I've seen a couple others. My friends just got into BattleBots this season. My one best friend from high school is on Valkyrie, the team, which is one of the newer BattleBot teams.
All right.
I know a lot of people in BattleBots, surprisingly. It's because it's like a lot of us all were in the same robotics program in high school because it's international. So now seeing the new wave of BattleBots folks, it's a lot of alumni, and we just kind of know each other at this point when you've stuck around. I've been in first, I think this is going to be my 16th year. I started in 8th grade, basically, and just never left. So I'm over half-life in that program, and that's a lot of time to be in a program and surrounded by the same people.
Yeah, I can only imagine. So do they do competitions? I am completely ignorant with this side of robotics. I know more about like AI stuff because I had a buddy that was really into that. Do they do competitions other than the BattleBot style competitions? Like what kind of competitions are there in robotics?
So the ones that I volunteer with, because I'm an event volunteer and I'm also a mentor, so I teach the kids. At events, each high school brings their own robot. There's alliances of 3. Your partner one match could be your opponent the next match.
Okay.
So you don't want to destroy the robots. You want to work together, but then you also have to figure out how to stop the other alliance from scoring. It's a little complicated, but it's a lot of fun. So last season,
You also gotta watch out for flying parts once in a while.
yes,
I've seen that happen once in a while. It's great.
Or when people forget to like take the wrench off the robot, and it just starts to go flying because high school kids, they get distracted. It's fine. We wear safety goggles. We're totally fine. We've had robots catch on fire before as well.
I would like to point out that I was a competition fencer and martial artist from 6 years old to like 19. I don't have nearly as many high school stories about things flying at me or dangerous situations, ma'am.
You just got to remember to bolt everything down.
Yes. When you're working with pneumatics, it gets fun because I may have sent a pool noodle into the ceiling lights and then destroyed all the ceiling lights in a single shot. It was really funny though.
With a
I pressed the wrong with a single pool noodle. It just boom, it was a potato launcher. We were trying to figure out how to make a t-shirt launcher, but we had turned up the pressure in the tank too high. So our test noodle flew into the ceiling lights and just everything all at once.
That's awesome.
It was wonderful.
Yeah, those are fun times.
That's
especially when something hits the other mascots. It's so much fun.
Yeah, Kyle's our resident gear monkey. I didn't, like I said, I never really got into that stuff in practicality. Jake and I were always, we thought it was cool, but we were too dumb to do it.
Exactly.
we built things that didn't accomplish anything. But so with the competitions, you were saying like they have the 3 alliances and they kind of rotate through. How do they decide, I guess, is there an overall victor, or is it like just like 3 people who get picked as like the top dog, or how does that work for scoring, I guess?
So like you have your qualification matches, you get 12. Usually they're competitions of between 30, I think it is, 30 to 100 teams, depending on if it's a like qualifying event or a championship level event. Okay. And then after your 12 matches, because everyone gets 12 matches, everyone's ranked 1 through whatever the team number is, and then the top 8 teams get to make their own alliances. So they get to pick depending on the event, 2 or 3 partners. Some events let you have a backup robot that you pre-select, so that way if someone kicks the bucket, you have a backup. And then if you have a second robot that kicks the bucket, It's just whoever didn't pack their stuff up for the day, and you have to hope for the best.
Okay. That's so crazy.
Right? I like this like political system that's built into the competition. It's like Robot Survivor. It sounds awesome.
That's what I was just about to say. I was gonna say this is like reality television and really smart people just crammed together. I love it.
No, it's high schoolers.
Yeah, but it's high schoolers, so it gets
Yeah, take
wild.
the smart people out, put high schoolers in.
They built robots, Kyle. They're smarter than me in high school. Shut up.
One time I built robots.
I know.
I was part of designing and building. Let's just say a carbon fire scoop didn't last long.
Why am I just now hearing about this? I've known you for like 2 years. We prepped for this show.
Well, I like to talk about things on the video.
Well, all right. That threw me for a loop. I gotta look at my notes now. I'm sorry. I did not expect to find out that Kyle had built robots.
Yeah, I spent junior high and senior year doing it. It was fun.
That's cool.
Yeah, but the carbon fiber scoop we built for the competition, we built 3. One survived the competition.
Okay.
Wait, what competition did you do? Was it first or best or best?
It was first, I believe, over in Denver. Because I know we drove down there and we were launching like I think a basketball into a hoop. I know
that game.
In 2011, we didn't get very far. Yeah, we didn't get very far, but we had a lot of fun.
So yeah, that was the one with the 3 basketballs, and then the center you had the ramps, and at the end you had the cooperation bonus where you could have on each alliance they could bring up the robot to balance the scale basically, and then you got extra points. But during the final matches, if all of your alliance partners crammed onto this itty bitty ramp, you got a crap ton of bonus points.
And we didn't go small. We went big and tall. And then we built a servo activated catapult.
Ooh, that's cool.
Yeah, it was great.
So, what was this? So this was an event that you were at?
So first is international. So there's like 50 something events around the United States. And then I don't know how many are around the world because I don't get sent around the world at this point for this competition. Hopefully I will go to Canada this year, but we'll see how everything goes. But yeah, everyone plays the same game. You get the game at the same time. You got 6 weeks to build a robot, and then you got to bag it. Well, you used to have to bag it up. Now it's just, I think, open bag. So folks can just keep working on their robots for as long as they want to. But previously, you literally only had 6 weeks, and then you had to put it in a box and then ship it to your event. And if it wasn't done, well, that sucks, kid.
I think the hardest part for my team was always the thought process and presentation for all the ideas, the booklet you have to bring for like the thought process of every step you had to go through to build that robot.
Oh yeah,
it was difficult. We were all a bunch of gearheads. Even the girls in our team were gearheads. It was, and then we had to literally handpick someone and just be like, here's the book. You gonna do it? We don't know how.
I'm still blown away by the fact that we prepped for this episode, and I'm just now finding out that you were at. Like, I researched first. I figured out like what they were. I want to smack you, Kyle.
So I never learned about it until high school. It was until then, and that's where I got into it.
I didn't even know we had a robotics program here in town until when I was at the college. I took a wrong detour to find my psych class 1 week from a building that I'd never had class in before, and I walked through the like engineering section, and they had similar to what you were talking about with the cardboard like robots, but instead they were like they had cardboard targets set up through the hallway, and they had these little like automated launchers that they were like recalibrating and figuring out how they could hit their little cardboard targets, and some of the cardboard things were little watchtowers and stuff. And that's how I found out we even had a robotics program here. So there's just a bunch of high school kids in one of the hallways in the college just launching little rubber balls at things. So
And then how I figured out about it was the fact that my junior year I started taking auto class, and my auto teacher was the robotics teacher. So he's like, "Hey, what are you doing after school? Nothing. Come on down."
we are a very small town. That sounds right.
That's how they get you.
See, I spent basically an extra 2 to 3 hours after class every day in there. It was great.
Yeah, the one team I was on, because I've moved across the country a little bit, and I moved to Texas for a hot second. It was very hot there, even during winter. But one of the coaches on that team was also the auto shop coach that like taught like fixing cars and everything. So when the mentors' cars would break down, we would just be like, well, the kids need practice anyways, and we got to get there. So we'll just take our car there and let the kids deal with it.
That's awesome. Sorry, that completely. So my next question was actually going to be about first, though. What is your favorite event that you've actually been able to attend in person?
That's tough. My heart wants to say the championships in 2019. So I got to be a master of ceremonies at the championships, which was an honor in itself. I got to be on the same field that my students were, and I didn't tell them. So they just saw me on the field, and they are so used to seeing me on the field. They thought nothing of it. I had a VIP badge. I'm like, they're not going to notice that I have a microphone on. And then my first match was their second match at the competition. So they come out, they're in like the queue lane, and I'm just hanging out around the scoring table, and they're thinking absolutely nothing of it. I'm in my MC outfit, mind you, which like is space pants and NASA shirt at this point, and then like I think I had a jacket on or something, and I'm just sitting there waiting, and eventually the other MC comes over. They start loading up on the field, and I get the microphone, and I put the microphone on, and that's when it clicked in their head, and they lost it. They were just like, "You get to be our MC?" And I'm like, "Surprise, I've known about this since January." And they're just like, "You're already the cool mentor. You're way too cool now. This isn't fair to everyone else." I'm like, "Calm down, kids. It's fine." And then the team finally caught on, because I have like 45 students. The team finally realized what was going on. I had let the head mentors know in advance, so they were like aware of what was going on. And then the kids started cheering, and I'm like, okay, I got them. This is the one time I'm ever going to surprise my students, and it was glorious.
That's awesome. 45 students?
Yeah, I got 45 students. I have friends with teams of like 112, and I'm just like, how do you manage all of those students?
That is way too many. As someone who has taught, like, even 45 is like, that's rough. 100 is, I can't even imagine that.
I am super lucky that my kids are, one, extremely intelligent, and two, super respectful, and they fully understand, like, hey, we're doing dangerous things. Let's not do stupid things. I have had a few not workshop related injuries. We got one of those like segways that you drive with your knees, and some kids have slipped and fallen on those. I've walked in on my kids just being weirdos. I'm like, y'all, that I don't understand. Like, why are you like this? And they're just like, it's just us playing around. It's like, yeah, but this is weird. I don't know what to tell you. Can you just not do this?
I think even my class had a few moments like that, but it was always our excuse was we're testing out new ideas for next season.
Yeah, I get that too. I'm like, all right, that's
That's my
fine.
excuse.
We
We're
did have to
testing
bake
leverage.
birthday cake, so
Well, so it's like after school, we tested that we were helping out the next year's competition because I was graduating. How is it going to be in there? We were helping out next year's where we were launching like darts down the hallway after hours. So we were expecting people to come in. Then one of our latecomers was coming around the corner, so a dart just flew by. It was like, let's stop.
I, I did something similar. You know those candy like pumpkins?
Yeah.
So for a year, I was an actual engineering teacher at a high school, and for extra credit during the fall, I was just like, well, look up different ways to throw a pumpkin, and we'll have our own competition. The kids got the students were really good, and we launched some pumpkins and smacked some people in the face and had to apologize and went, we're sorry, we didn't know you were there, and we didn't think it would be thrown that far. Because it went all the way down from one end of the school to the other. We're like, all right, I'm not doing this again next year.
That's awesome.
Let's point this at a wall.
So that was one of my other questions, because I know you say you volunteer a lot. You say you were a teacher. What are you strictly a volunteer instructor now, or do you actually hold like a faculty position, or how does that work?
I'm strictly a volunteer right now. So
Okay.
I work at a nonprofit that actually runs first events in a different state,
Okay.
which is really cool. I love doing it, but I also love mentoring and teaching the kids. When I was teaching, I was at a charter school, and the state I was living in at the time had like weird charter rules that allowed me to be a teacher. And I'm like, all right, I'll give it a year and see how it goes. So I did the year, and then there was some weird mix up with some things. So I'm like, all right, I guess I'll go back to marketing and see something I like. Even though my degree's not in marketing, I just managed to be in marketing. I went to college to make video games, and I did the art track for it, so more of the art and animation side of video games, and just it didn't stick, I guess is the best way to put it. But now I'm in streaming, and I'm like, maybe I'll get to use my degree finally. Wouldn't that be wonderful?
What can't you do? Like, I'm sorry, you guys don't know, but robots, marketing, video game design. What was the other thing we were talking about the other day? And you were like, oh yeah, I used to work in that. Like, every time we bring up a profession that's like cool or has skills, she's like, yeah, I used to do that for like a year. I know all about it. Here, I can get you some resources. Like,
brewery. It was when I worked at the breweries that I brought up.
the brewery. Yep. Yeah, that's it. Like, what haven't you done?
I don't mean to bounce around like a whole bunch. It's an accident, but sometimes life brings happy accidents. I don't know. It's like Bob Ross.
I love it. No, it's amazing, because not only are you this incredibly nice and welcoming person, but like, you're so well versed and able to provide value and insight into literally every conversation I have ever seen you a part of, which is amazing. It's just true. It's I don't understand how people collect this many skills. Sorry, something just flashed over here on my other monitor. I apologize. Of course, right as I'm being nice. But
and
and
the sincerity alarm going off. Too much sincerity.
that's right. Wait, David's being nice. Abort. No, it's crazy to me, and then to see all the and hear about all of the volunteer work that you do. And I know I had another question about first. I'm trying to remember it and read my notes real quick. It was kind of the last little thing I had about that. I know I asked you what your favorite event is. I have very little knowledge of this. I did a little bit of Googling, didn't really give me a whole lot of information. What is, I guess, it looks like, correct me if I'm wrong here, that there are different types of events that they do throughout the year, or do they just change up like the games or the type of event every year, or how does that work? Because reading on Google, it looks like there's different types of events.
Oh, there's first robotics competition. That's the one that I primarily like to work in, but my job actually is not in that. My job is in first tech challenge, first Lego League challenge, first Lego League Explorer, and then first Lego League Discover. Though it's broken up by age range. So FRC, first robotics competition, is high school. First tech challenge is upper middle through high school. First Lego League challenge is lower middle school and upper elementary. Lego League Explorer is most of elementary, and then Lego League Discover is like kindergarten, first grade, because it's just getting them introduced to the concepts of like engineering, getting them used to Legos, and then the next part is like, all right, let's introduce motors. And then Lego League Challenge is an actual robotics competition based around robots built with Legos.
Okay, that's what I saw. Okay.
And each year the game changes.
Okay.
So it's a new theme, and it's a new like what they have to go learn about and all that kind of stuff.
Nice. Have they ever like repeated the games, at least in your time doing it or anything? Or oh wow.
We've had similar game pieces. So like we'll have in 2007 there was this giant rack that shook in the middle of the field that you had to put like blow up tubes on. My senior year of high school was the 20th anniversary. The tubes were the logo, so you had like a square tube, a triangle tube, and a circle tube in the same colors, and you had to get them in order on racks on the side of the field. But what they changed about that one is the racks didn't shake. They were put up right where the drivers were driving the robots, who were protected with, metal and polycarb and whatnot. But then there were 4 posts in the center of the field that you had to, at the last 30 seconds, somehow get a smaller robot off of your robot and then have it attached onto this pole and race up the pole to hit the light.
That's awesome.
It was so much fun to see, and then just basically the last 30 seconds were various drag races of different robots. My favorite event was the Philadelphia regional that year, because there was one team that they got their mini-bot onto the pole. It started to go up, it fell off, but it flipped over and somehow clasped back on and just went up and still made it like second or third in the mini-bot races, like out of all 4. And it was just
impressive.
one of those like, what? And they had to do an instant replay and in slow motion, so you just see it actually go and do that. We're all sitting there like, how in the physics did this happen? Why? We're just gonna let this work. Okay, we're good.
That's interesting. It's so crazy to me, and I love that there's so much of that out there, because it always seemed like, something you only saw on TV when I was a kid. So I love hearing and seeing that those opportunities exist out there for people. Also, I'm still mad at you, Kyle.
That's good.
That's actually all of the questions I had about robotics. Unless you two have anything, I think I'm going to move over to my next topic.
I do.
Okay, go ahead.
What is the coolest robot that you've made?
Ooh.
Did it have a laser?
No
I'm
lasers. Outside of my senior year, because that one was just special. My junior year, we made a robot that ended up someone calling it the Blueberry of Doom. It had this giant arm in the center, and then we put a protective roll cage on it and covered it in blue fabric, so it did indeed look like a blueberry. Its name was Squirtle, because Pokemon,
Rad.
why not?
Uh-huh.
But for some reason, the name Blueberry of Doom stuck, and I'm like, okay, All right, we're just gonna roll with it, and it followed us to every event, including the World Championships. We didn't understand how. Everyone was just like, "Oh, it's a blueberry." We told you it was named Squirtle, but all right. We had a sister team that year too that had a very similar robot that was yellow, and they kept getting called Pikachu, and we were just called Blueberry.
Wow. Show some love for Squirtle. Come on, he's best Pokemon.
Oh, best
Squirtle
starter
is a
Pokemon.
fan. Depends on what you're gonna do, I think, but still, what? How hard is it to say Squirtle instead of
Not that hard.
Blueberry?
Blastoise.
Whoa, chill. All right, come on now. No. All right, that's awesome though. But I get that. That's one of those things that just it always happens at high school competitions too. There may or may not be pictures of me in papers and or in gymnasiums around the state with a broken bow staff. Yeah. I was in a pre-qualifier national tournament, which was held in Greeley, Wyoming, an awful town, but they're a big martial arts tournament. I was literally on the last move of my kata, and I broke my bow staff, and they didn't take a picture of me doing the spin and going or breaking the bow. They got the picture when I picked it up and looked at it. And I was about 15, 16 at this point, and I'm looking at it like, what the fuck? Like, I had no clue what to do now. And that is the picture of me. By the way, the only picture of me that's left from competitions that didn't get destroyed by floods and things like that. So, yeah. High school competitions. Anyways. So, moving away from the robotics, as awesome as I could pick your brain on that all night because, like I said, it was something that I was interested in but never really got into. So it's super cool that you do that. But I happened to notice in the information you gave us that you said you own about 100 board games and enjoy collecting board games. One of our good friends here locally owns a board game shop, and we have been introduced slowly to board games that are not Risk and Sorry, because you know
Monopoly.
Oh, shut up, Kyle. No one talks about Monopoly.
Would you like me to break out my binder full of custom rules
Yeah.
for Monopoly, Kyle?
Wait. I feel bad, but this happened. I didn't play Monopoly for the first time until last year, so I've never played on the board. I played the digital one because my friends couldn't believe me when I said I've never played Monopoly before. And then they had to hold my hand the whole time. They're like, "You weren't kidding." I'm like, I've legit. My parents have a Monopoly coffee table in their living room. Never got used.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's painful to hear.
We have experienced table flips from Monopoly. The 3 if you include my oldest sister. The 3 games that cause contention in our family is Risk, where we have had multiple day-long games of Risk. Monopoly, which destroys people. And Sorry, if you're playing with my older sister, because she gets, I don't know why, she can play the other 2 and not get mad, but if you play Sorry with my sister, she will, like, I have seen her, like, smack people playing that game. And she is normally the most reserved. Like, we make fun of her because she doesn't have a personality, and she gets violent playing Sorry. It's hilarious.
Oh, goodness.
I want to see her play something like Clank. Anyways. So the minute I saw board games on there, obviously I got very excited as well. What is I'm going to start off with the hard one, and then we'll work our way backwards. What's your favorite board game you've ever played?
Ooh, there's I don't own it, but my friend has this one called Evil Baby Orphanage, where you
Go on.
so you have all of these evil people throughout history. You pull them the it came from a podcast from years ago where someone was just like, it's like nature versus nurture. If you had if you could, and you went back in time to when all these evil people were babies, and then you just yanked them from their situation and raised them yourself, would they still end up being evil? So then it kind of turned into this board game where you have different babies and you run your orphanage, and it's all various evil people from throughout history and different books and whatnot. And there's like 4 different types. Some babies can't be near others because of historical ties. Others, it's like, oh, this one is a grabby baby, so it likes to grab toys. This one needs to be controlling, so when the grabby baby is in the orphanage, the controlling baby has to leave or something like that. Like, it's weird, and you're trying to collect a certain amount of babies before like someone else does. The closest thing to that that's come out since is Unstable Unicorns.
Oh yeah, I love that game.
You're trying to get the unicorns in your stable. That one is one of my favorites at this point. It is so much fun.
We had a game of that last for like 2 hours because we're all just jerks.
Yeah.
So yeah. I love that game though. That anything that gives us the ability to screw one of our friends over in the game is generally top tier for us. That's impressive. I was gonna ask next, do you have a favorite, I guess, type of board game? Like, you know, you have resource management, you have all kinds of different board game styles. Is there a particular type?
Is causing chaos amongst friend groups a particular type? Because that's the best type of board game for me.
Jake and I call that family night.
I call that board games.
At one point, we literally were going to get a lockbox, like a banker's lockbox that you used to be able to get at Walmart for the Monopoly Bank, so that when we would get up to go to the bathroom, you could lock the money up, because everyone was always accusing everyone else of cheating. You could sit on the opposite side of the table as the bank, and they'd be like, you didn't have that 50. You didn't have that $500. What are you doing? You can't afford this.
I counted your money. I know how much you have.
His nephew is the worst. He will get you looking at like a rule or something, or like he'll get you to go get something, and then he'll like try to sleight of hand a 500 from your money into his. And then what he didn't know is we never cared or called him out on it because we were just taking the 500 back from the bank. And so he was stealing our money, and then we were stealing from the bank. So, you know. We managed.
Our family is very intense when it comes to our board game playing.
The way I learned vocabulary was my dad would just beat the shit out of me in Scrabble, and then I would have to like go look up all the words that I didn't know that he used to just blast me in the dictionary and learn them, and then just keep playing him because he was hyper competitive and he wouldn't lose.
So my grandma in Ohio loved Scrabble, and she had a 4-book set of dictionaries, each one that was like this thick. And I think like half of the words were just fake, because I've looked up words that we found in that dictionary online and not been able to find them. But she would break out just insane words and be like, it's in the dictionary. And then she would pull it out and it would be.
It's in one of my 4.
I think she had them custom printed.
With her, it would not surprise me. She was also a notorious cheater in every game. I remember like learning card games from her as a child, like simple stuff like Crazy Eights, and like yeah, I can never beat Grandma. And my dad's like, yeah, it's because she's cheating. And he showed me how she was cheating. What the hell, Grandma?
When I was taught to play chess, the very first thing that happened to me was my dad set up, taught me all of the moves, and then used the 3-move checkmate against me. I went, okay, I win. This game sucks. Yeah, that's welcome to our family. But so yeah, we completely understand sowing chaos amongst board game nights.
Yeah, just a little bit. There's I guess the other one that's like my favorite one. It's Red Dragon Inn. So the concept is you just got done a quest. You've gone to whatever dungeon. You've defeated the dragon. Whatever. It's a D&D like themed game. You're sitting at the bar with your buddies that you just beat this dragon with, and you're trying not to be the drunkest one.
Yeah,
Sounds like
I've seen
the
it.
opposite
It
of my
looks
family.
super fun.
It's a lot of fun. It can get up to like 30 people because of all the expansions. So like you can have this massive group of people just playing. There's betting. There's like trying to tip the wench bartender, whichever one it is. The bartender is now a character in it that you can play. It gets all kinds of crazy and wild. And we have a house rule amongst me and my college friends. You have to talk in an accent the whole time.
I was about to say,
it's a drinking game. It gets rough.
Okay.
Every time I've seen it played, everyone role plays their character, which is so good.
That's awesome.
It's a lot of fun.
I
highly suggest that one.
Jake, write that down, or you've heard of it before, so let me know.
Oh yeah. It's one of the big like achievement hunter games. They play it a lot.
I'll get it from Sean because that sounds awesome. And I love social games. So I don't know how you are on like the social deduction games, but like I don't know if you've heard of Avalon. I love that game.
Okay.
What's the Secret Hitler?
Yep.
Okay.
We had to ban that one from the robot shop because of the name and
Fair.
the kids wouldn't stop playing it.
You had robotic rules?
That makes sense. Look, there's the 3 laws of robotics, and then there's Camilla's laws.
No, it got so bad with my group that my teacher literally went to a side of his like whiteboard and started writing down words we could not say or discuss.
That seems right.
Yeah. We were junior high and senior year kids in high school. Yeah. It happens.
It does.
Yeah.
Can confirm.
Can very much confirm. Sometimes things are said and you just turn to the kids and go, yeah, let's not say that again, ever. Please.
Oh, so it's like being on the internet. Oh, wait, sorry.
Yeah, pretty much.
Not
Honestly, yeah.
not to get back into streaming, but TikTok. Anyways, do you play any of the like resource management board games, or do you kind of shy away from them?
I think what Machi Koro counts as one. I think.
Yeah.
I think that one's one. That's like my favorite one because it's fairly easy. I know they have the version where like you play the first round and then what happened in the first round affects the second round, and it's like a different that is really nice. I like that particular version of Machi Koro. Trying to think what other like resourcey games I have. I have a lot of party games. It feels like I have Flux. I have of course Cards Against
Flux
Humanity.
is so much fun.
Oh, Flux is wonderful. I have Batman Flux. I have Cartoon Network Flux. I have regular Flux. Oh, Trouble's back.
I didn't even know they made other types of Flux.
Mm-hmm. There's different
awesome.
Like themed Flux at this point. I think there's like Avengers Flux, Adventure Time Flux.
Oh, my wife.
Munchkin's really good too.
Munchkin is fun. We have a Rick and Morty Munchkin and a Teen Titans Go Munchkin, which is how I got my wife into that. But we could get Adventure Time Flux, and we could get my wife into a Flux. That game's so much fun.
It is so much fun.
Yeah. Remember, David.
What?
She's going to be against you regardless of what happens.
Oh, I know. Everyone in this house is against me. I don't care. Look, It's why no one plays Risk against me. Because it's the game that I can beat everyone at.
Let's see.
Debatable.
Let's see. Coup. Jake's always lying. Don't believe David.
I was gonna get into Coup. I was gonna ask if you've ever played that game.
Coup, I don't think I have.
It's both a resource management and a social deduction game in one. So it's like my favorite game ever. Basically,
my favorite board game.
It might be mine as well, even though there's technically no board to it. But
it's the card game.
Basically, you get different cards given to you and their roles. So like you could get the Duke and the Contessa, and they're hidden from everybody. And having those cards gives you certain abilities. Like you can take 3 coins out of the center from it and all these other different things. And people can challenge you on it and claim that you're lying. And if they do, and you prove that they're wrong, that card goes back in the deck, you get a new one, and they lose one of their cards. And the way you lose is both your cards go. And people can pay money after building up enough resources to just straight up coup you, and that kills one of your cards. And so it's a game of being the last one standing. And so you have to kind of like see who's bluffing and deduce if they're lying and kind of judge when you care and when you don't. And it's a lot of fun. It's more complex than I'm making it sound, but it's you get 4 or 5 people or more playing and it gets insane.
You might also come up with just generic jokes or memes that happen within that card game.
Oh boy.
It's great.
I highly recommend it to anyone who enjoys board games. Check out Coup. It's great. To chat, yeah, it's similar to Sheriff of Nottingham, but it's simpler and better at the same time. Like nothing wrong against Sheriff of Nottingham. That's a fun game. But
it's also a good game.
Yeah, it is. But Coup is kind of they took some of the mechanics and kind of narrowed it down and simplified it and made it a little more cutthroat.
Yeah, I mean, there's less like global rules and a lot more like individual rules in Coup.
Yeah. So I'm gonna test your board game nerdiness here a little bit.
Oh goodness. Okay.
Have you ever heard of or played Food Chain Magnate?
It sounds familiar, but I think
I will tell you, it's a French board game. It's in English, obviously, but it's made by a French company.
I have a sneaking suspicion. I know it because at a board game night, someone brought it, and then we didn't vote on it, and we never played it.
That's fair, because it takes a lot of setup. I think the last time we played it, we started at 9 or 10, and we went until almost 3 a.m, Jake.
Yeah.
It can take a lot of setup, especially the first couple times. It is. I always kind of test people with it. It's super rare. Getting a hold of it, even for like my buddy who owns a board game shop, it took him 6 months to find a copy of it, Jake. Something like that.
I don't remember.
Because it's super, super rare, and they only printed so many copies of it. And at first, it didn't do well, because they released it in France, and it apparently bombed. And then when they released it over here, it was considered originally one of like the top 5 most difficult board games. And so that got all the people who like were into the challenge getting it, and then it exploded, and now you can't find it anywhere. But if you ever want a fun, chaotic, long game, look up Food Chain Magnate. And because basically the whole thing is everyone is trying to establish a restaurant, and you are trying to serve more customers and make more money than everyone else. But you have to, like, your food can spoil every round if you aren't careful. You can accidentally build up too much, like, resources, and now you're throwing food away, and you have to pay for the cost of all the lost food and stuff. It is incredibly fun. I thought it was going to be boring as hell when my friend told me about it, and we ended up playing it for like 4.5, 5 hours. So another one I recommend. But what board games would you recommend to the audience, if especially for someone who's never played a lot of board games?
Oh, my heart wants to say Red Dragon Inn because it's just so much fun. But usually you need like a little bit of D&D experience to kind of understand like a lot of the backstory to it. Otherwise you're just like, okay, what am I supposed to do with these cards? What is the gambling mechanics and all that? There's I kind of want to just say Pretending to Grown Up because it's really funny. You get these cards and you basically have to argue with everyone, and then I forget how you win because it's been a little bit since we played, but you're supposed to end up being successful, like either job, house, whatever, and then there's different cards that change the rules that kind of change like what is defined as success and everything, or just silly things that happen. And the first time I played it, one of the rules came up where you had to argue for the opposite. So instead of saying, I'm the richest adult here, it's, I'm the poorest. I have the most amount of student loans. And it just became a joke amongst my friends group because at this point, we're all like just out of college. We're like, this hurts a little. We feel called out, but it was so funny. And it was super quick to pick up too. We're just like, all right, this is our game. So Pretending to Grown Up.
Okay.
It's a whole bunch of fun, especially when you play with the opposite role.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. Okay. What was the other game I was gonna? Have you ever played any of like the dungeon crawler type games like Clank and things like that?
Like Boss Monster?
Think Boss Monster is like what I'm talking about. That's one I've not played, but I've seen a little bit. But yeah, kind of the.
Boss Monster is my favorite one out of anything dungeony because you're building the dungeon and you're fighting the heroes instead of being the hero fighting the dungeon. That one's really good too. I really recommend that one.
Okay. Yeah, see, I guess that's not the one I've seen. I'm trying to think of. There's also, there was a board game. They tried to get me into it. It's like a board game D&D, but it's less free world. What was that? Josh used to try to get us to play it all the time.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, but I don't.
It's Gloomhaven.
Munchkin?
Gloomhaven.
Oh, Gloomhaven.
Yeah.
Gloomhaven. I like that one.
I enjoyed the couple of times I got to play. It's very hard for me to play games that I can't finish in like one sitting just because of how chaotic our life is. I would love to do like a recurring game like that every week, but would turn into 12 months.
I got 6 months in, and then we had to stop because everyone's schedule just went.
Yeah.
That'll happen.
There was another one that I wanted to ask you about that it's been too long. I can't remember the name of it. Arabian Nights, I think. Or it was based off of it. Yeah.
I think I've heard of that one. I'm trying to think. I used to hang out with someone that had like 300 board games, which is kind of where I got started on this path a little bit. It started in college being like, oh, people make board games still, because all I knew growing up was like Monopoly, Sorry, and Risk. I'm like, I guess that's all there is for board games, not realizing there was so much more to it.
Yeah.
I feel like they had Arabian Nights because they were a history teacher. So anything that they could use as like a class item, they had.
That makes sense.
But I don't know if we ever played it.
It's a long game, but it's so much fun. It's another one of those lock out like 4 hours, but it's.
Oh boy.
And we played the fast version. Apparently, there's a longer way to play.
I just remember I had a very bad time in that game because my character immediately got cursed with sadness, which removed like all of my abilities. But I could like go to other players and infect them with sadness, so that like winning the game went out the door. My entire goal was just I'm gonna meet up with another player and try to make them sad.
Yeah. It became a race for me and one of our other friends to just how we stopped caring about our goals as much and just how far away from Jake could we get, because we knew he was coming to try to mess with us. Yeah, that's a really fun game. I again recommend it. There's so many good. I don't understand. Like, I don't know if you run into this or not. I'm curious, but like in the video game sphere run into a lot of resistance when I suggest to gamers like, you should try this board game, and they're like, but it doesn't move and it's not called Halo. Why should I play it?
I for the longest time, what I wanted to do was, and this was like when the world's open back up, things are safe, everyone's schedules like settled down. What I wanted to do on stream on Friday nights was get my local friends together and just play board games on stream, and then eventually turn it into a series where like we take the stream and everything and we showed people how to play the games, the rules, like things that we came into that were snags and whatnot. But being busy adults, who has time to meet up in person?
Yeah.
We only manage it because we live together, so I get it.
But yeah, now going outside of my initial group of people that I knew in video game industry and whatnot, it's weird to be like, oh, why haven't you tried this board game? And everyone's just like, no. Like, what's the problem with board games? I don't understand. It's still a game. It's just you're not looking at a screen, and you can have someone right next to you playing instead of far away, which pros and cons to that, but still, like, it's just a different way to play a game.
Yep. I hear you. I was just curious if other people, or if that was just like, we live in a very rural town. We're in the Midwest, and so, I mean, some of them, don't even enjoy the fact that you mention, an Xbox or a PlayStation, let alone a computer. So trying to get those people to play a board game is like pulling teeth. Might be nicer.
Yeah.
All right. There was one other game I was going to ask about, but I've forgotten about it. So unless these guys have questions, I actually have something else I want to talk to you about.
Yeah, no, I think I'm good.
Okay. So last topic that I have questions for before we move into their segments. And I don't know how much you want to talk about this. So obviously, if you don't want to share or say anything, let me know. But I hear you're an artist, ma'am.
Hi, yes, I am.
What kind of art do you prefer to create?
I do a lot of drawings.
Okay.
I kind of just got into the more digital art because side money's nice, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
Like, Twitch streaming, I knew about like the emotes and the overlays and whatnot, but I didn't realize how much of a high demand there are for people who are like, hey, can you make something that's like super cute for me? It's like, okay, sure. So I started doing more digital art, but I'm still much more comfortable with like paper, getting like charcoal. I become a giant mess when I make art. So I have to plan an entire day around making it, because then I'm like completely covered in charcoal. I'll get it all over my face and just be like, I have no idea how this happened. I just made an art piece. Here it is. And somehow I just look like I've been like putting coal into the fireplace for hours upon hours the entirety of the day.
That's fair. That's my sister dabbled in that. She was more photography than that, but one of her favorite pieces, it got damaged in one of our moves, but she actually gave to me, and it was a charcoal tiger. that was staring out at you. It was great. Unfortunately, that got damaged. But what I do still have, I love charcoal art, and if you like horror themed stuff, you should look up Phil Spalding. You can't really see it super well, but this back here behind me is a pyramid head, and it's all charcoal. It's black and red charcoal is the whole thing. I love that style of art.
Oh, that's gotta look amazing.
I can try.
I can see like a little bit of it.
Hang on. Oh, my camera is stuck. Stop being stuck. There we go.
Ooh.
That's the whole thing there.
I want to see it close up, but I know it's on the wall, and that's not possible. But that's what Google's for,
right? Yeah. You should check it out. He came to one of our Comic-Cons, and I found him, and my wife saw that drawing and fell immediately in love. Sorry for blocking the camera again. I'll have to mess with that some more here in a minute, but yeah. So I love that kind of stuff. Do you have anywhere where your art is displayed, or do you just kind of make it for yourself? Or
I have a coffee link, which I just kind of have it in case folks want art from me, because then you can order it from me. But I feel weird being like, yeah, that's kind of the only spot on the internet you can find my art besides my own like Twitch channel, because I make my own emotes.
Oh, that's cool.
I've had a show before, which was really cool, like an entire gallery. I split it with someone, which was really cool too, and I didn't have to pay for it, which was nice.
Nice.
And outside of that, my parents' home is currently the gallery where every bit of art I have made is hung up or somewhere nearby that they show off whenever anyone comes over, because it's my parents. Of course they're going to.
That's nice. Well, you say of course. Some people don't have it, but that's awesome.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, it's nice to be able to like go home and just be like, yes, my art is here. This makes me happy.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
Let me find the link, since I didn't sign in for a bit because I've just been way too busy. Oops. I also have an emote for someone up on my screen because that's what I was working on earlier. But I don't know if they're lurking in the channel or not, and I'm not about to call anyone out here.
Fair.
Is it in the post section? There's a post section. I'll just send it to you right now.
All right.
It's perfect. Only 2 of them. So, and there's some needed context for these, because the theming is not happy stuff. Like, I realize I'm a super happy, like, chill person on the internet, and then you look at the art and you're just like, are you okay? Like, do you need a therapist? I used to, for a little bit, I was a crisis text line volunteer, so I got trained on how to talk people down and whatnot. So I did that at like 3-4 in the morning sometimes. I would get up super early and just take the early morning shift because they didn't have enough volunteers and I was unemployed. So I'm like, it's a good use of my time until I have a job. So I did that for a little bit, and just the heaviness of everything, I was just like, I need to just get it out. And that was the best way I could do it. So I'm like, I can't talk to people about what I just talked about because privacy. So it turned into art pieces for a little bit.
You did that as a volunteer?
Yes. I got training for it. It was like 30 hours of training and a fancy certificate that I'm just like, I can kind of help people, but I'm still not really qualified to help people.
I did it for a lot of money.
Like, a little bit more things I've done. Here you go.
The training basically was just like, I can tell you need more help than I can provide. So here.
So I started my career in a rehabilitation correction center for drug and alcohol addictions mostly. also other behavioral modification. So yeah, I get that was a lot of what I did was talking people down and putting them out of crisis and then being like, and counselor, please help this person, please. So yeah, no, I get it. It made my sense of humor very dark. Like I already had a dark sense of humor, but that was my way of coping with it. Was dark humor, and I had to learn that, hey, stupid, not everyone has your life experience. You need to shut the fuck up.
Yeah. I still haven't learned that.
I don't know. Like dark art, again, maybe I'm weird here, but I don't like. There's some stuff that's just like too dark, obviously, but like for the most part, I think dark art is fine. It's art is supposed to be an expression of different feelings and emotions, so capturing not always the happy ones, I don't think is a problem personally. But
yeah, I've just had people just be like, "You're such a happy person. How could you make something that looks so sad?" And it's like, I have other feelings that need to be felt. I'm a person. I don't know what to tell you here. Like,
you are allowed.
My locked up emotions that I keep deep inside me. I'm just gonna paint it on this paper.
You are allowed the full range of human emotions, believe it or not.
surprisingly. As a robot, you would think I only am programmed for two things.
Oh my god. I love it. Yeah. No, that's great. So is charcoal, I know you said you prefer drawing. Have you ventured into any painting or anything like that, or?
I have. I've done painting before, just because art classes you kind of have to venture into a little bit of everything. I've done like pastel work and all that. I just ended up settling more in charcoal, and then the digital art I've always wanted to be better at. Like I wasn't bad. It's just like it's not as easy as drawing. And it turned out the entirety of the issue was I just needed a drawing tablet with a screen so I can see what I was drawing and not like look down, look up, look down, look up, and be like, all right, why isn't it lining up between where the pen is and all that? So that was a little bit beyond my control, I think.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah. That is another skill that I've always like. I don't want to say envied because that's the wrong word. I don't regret that other people have it and that I don't. I love art and I love enjoying art. Kind of. Jake's gonna shake his head a little bit because I don't agree with art critics a lot of the time. But I wish I could make art. And it's funny because the charcoal is the thing that I've always been drawn to. It's why, like, if I could have, I'd have bought every single print from our Comic-Con trips just redone in charcoal. I love it. Oh, sorry. I thought you were going to say something. Oh, hey,
No.
a wild cat. Have you ever
in its natural habitat?
I don't love Jackson Pollock chat quit line. Anyways, have you ever tried to oh sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say I get how Jackson Pollock was popular, but I like seeing faces in my art or like animals, something.
Art, yeah. Anyways. Have you ever tried experimenting with like different canvases with charcoal or like different processes to change the canvas?
A little bit. I haven't done so recently just because like I've lived in apartments and I feel like if I ruin the carpet, it's going to be a big problem. Like I 3D printed something and I painted it, and my silly goose self dropped the paintbrush on the carpet, and now I'm just like, I have no idea what to do with the spot on the carpet because it's light carpet and it was dark gray paint. I'm like, oh, crap. So I get nervous about making too much of a mess, especially since I already like am covered in charcoal. Like it just doesn't matter what I do. I'm covered in it. When I was painting too, I was like being super delicate. Like I'll just get like just around this one spot. It'll be perfectly fine. And then I put the paintbrush down and I look at my hands. I'm like, how is there so much paint on my hands? Especially when it wasn't even the end of the brush was really far away from my hands. How did this happen?
So I want to make a statement about that. Mechanics can relate to that, and the fact of anti-seize. It's got a little like paintbrush attached to the cap, and we'll just like take out just a little bit and put it on a bolt, and then put it down and look at our hands, and it's everywhere. We don't know how, but why? It's just there.
Magic.
It's called a curse.
So, I don't know if I'm sure you know what Warhammer is. You seem well versed enough to. I used to want to be involved in it, and then I discovered that Jake and I have a talent. It's not a talent, but that is in when we focus on something that's like very precise, which is weird because I've done martial arts and fencing for so long in my life. Our hands shake. So like if I get a little pinpoint brush and try to focus on a model, if I stare and focus at whatever I'm working on, my hand starts to shake.
Yeah, that only happens when I focus on things and not all the time.
Well, yeah, you're just shaky all the time, but I get it when I focus on something. So us trying to paint the miniatures was awful. Have you ever done any like model painting or miniature painting or anything like that?
I did. It was like someone's birthday party, and that's what they wanted to do for their birthday. So I just sat there, and they're like, "All right, I have 100 models for this campaign I want to do. Can we like just paint them?" Like, yes. So some of them turned awful because people were just like, "I'm just gonna paint a smiley face over the face, and it's gonna be funny." And then you have me just like ignoring the entirety of the party and everything going on, just like focused on this one little detail model, like, oh, this is gonna be great. And then 3 hours later, I'm like, why is everyone singing happy birthday? Oh no, I missed the cake.
That's fair. I've known plenty of people, but some of the people who can paint those miniatures, not only the commissions that they make for painting them for other people, but the detail work, like, oh,
I could not get that detailed. Like it is an art. Like it is its own, like, of course we're talking about art, but like that is so precise and fine, and it just takes like so much work to get to being that great at it. Like I
right.
would love to do that, but I don't have free time.
Yeah, well, how could you? You're building death robots. We know you don't have to. You're having a million jobs. You're painting. You're creating emotes. You're modding and streaming. You're everything and
Sometimes
everywhere.
at the same time.
Yes, I wasn't gonna throw you under the bus for it, but
it's okay. Me and my friends do it to each other. So like I have one friend that started as a mod, and that's the reason I have that weird thing where I'm like, I'll just sit in this channel while I'm streaming and hit the buttons if need be, because that's what my friends do for me. And I'm just like, I guess it's a normal thing when streaming and modding. And I've quickly learned, no, my friends are weird.
Yeah. Can confirm. I am a mod in like one channel, and I run ours. And no, I love that man to death. But when I'm running this, I already have to push the buttons for these monkeys. I'm not. No. No. You are way more talented at multitasking than I am.
I can't focus on a single thing at one time. I don't know why. I just can't. It's like, okay, I need like 3 things going, and then I'm like, all right, I can bounce around and have a rhythm to it. Otherwise, if it's like one thing, I'm like, I need a break. I need to do something else.
See, I get that, but I need the 3 things so that I can hyper focus on the one thing. It drives Jake absolutely insane because I will use TV like a podcast sometimes. I will put like a show or something or a stream on my phone, and I'm still listening and I am engaged in what's going on there. But I need like that going and the music going so that I can focus on my editing. So
yeah, I can focus on at most like 2 things if they use different senses. Like I can listen to music or a podcast while doing something like visual, but that is my nightmare, having like multiple things to focus on. Just
yeah.
I could not do it. It would drive me insane in minutes. I would lose it.
Yeah. so once again, another one of your superpowers, being able to focus on way too much.
That's very impressive.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. So my last question for you is, if you could right now at the snap of a finger become a master of any style or type of art that you wanted, what would it be?
My gut instinct says realism because I've been chasing that for years, and I still feel like I have a lot to go, especially with digital. I cannot get realism down in digital. So if I could do it digitally, I would feel so complete inside. And I know I don't need it to be complete, but it's one of those like I'm chasing the perfection a little bit.
Okay. That's an amazing answer. And I always love those questions. Gives you kind of an insight into somebody, what they want to do. But that's cool. We are going to, I'm going to play, you can't hear my sounds that I play, unfortunately. I'm not as cool as Jordan. My setup is very difficult.
I'm not sorry.
That's awesome. Yeah, unfortunately, because I have to have 3 mics set up within proximity for when we do our group stuff. Yeah, I can't set it up in a way that you can hear this. But I'm going to play a drop for the stream real quick. Oh my god. I'm going to play this real quick, and then we're going to go into shenanigans, which is Jake's game. Also, you guys in the sound, I need to get better sounds.
Our shenanigans are cheeky and fun.
I had these for my stream, and then Jordan explained to me how to do it for the microphone. And I went, "Well, but I have this program," and he goes, "Yeah, it'll work too." I'm like, "Okay." Yeah. So then I started causing chaos too.
Yeah, basically, I have to upgrade to an XLR mic before I can do it. But that's all right. Not a big deal. One day. All right. So Jake, you have a shenanigans plan.
I do, and it's going to involve all of us this week as well as the audience.
Got it. I'm going to bed.
Shut up, Kyle. No, you're not.
Wow. You, as someone working in robotics, of course, are complicit in the inevitable robot uprising, which I support. I am pro our robot overlords taking over and look forward to it. I've been, for those of you who don't know, I've been getting a little bit of a head start for all of 2021. I've been letting built-in algorithms to apps and everything run as much of my life as possible. Because I want to get a heads up and let the robots run my life now, so that when they take over, they know I'm cool. But I also, firmly believe in democracy. So we today are going to elect a robot overlord. We are each going to choose a fictional robot to elect as our future robot overlord and give our pitch of why they should be our supreme commander of all of humanity. And then the audience is going to decide which one of these robot overlords will rule. As I feel like I have an unfair advantage, as I've been thinking about this for like 2 or 3 hours now. I will let you guys go first, as I have backups in mind. David, why don't you go ahead and go first, since I know you've also had a little bit of heads up to think about this, to let Kyle and Camilla here gather their thoughts.
Definitely been thinking about it. A robot overlord.
Yes.
I'm gonna go with K9 from Doctor Who. And reason 1, dogs are amazing. And this is a robot dog. Reason 2, he's incredibly intelligent and has been all throughout the multiverse and universe and time and space. 3, he's connected to Doctor Who, and I sense this is going to go horribly wrong. So at least there's someone who's going to come save us when we screw it up and piss off the robot overlords. And the 4th reason, I mean, he's a freaking triangle piece of metal that looks like a battle bot that also is somehow 10,000 times smarter than all these alien races. I love it.
Okay, solid choice. So that is our first candidate for this election. Which one of you would like to go next? Who thinks they're ready?
I can try to explain my reasoning with my choice. Probably not the
Okay.
best, but I'll go for it. So we have R2D2
Yes.
because, well, one, it's R2D2. R2D2, I think, would be like level-headed for the most part. Pretty intelligent. We would have to have C3PO on board to help us understand what R2D2 wants, and I don't think that's a problem. I think realistically, we can then laugh at our leaders a little bit and take enjoyment with our leaders. But I think R2D2 would be pretty level-headed. Very, very like, I guess more of a chill leader, but we would have to really mess up pretty bad for R2D2 to then be like, no, we're done with these humans. We're done. End it.
That's fair.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
They do say swearing is like a sign of high intelligence, and he's canonically the only Star Wars character who curses.
Can't argue with that. It also would be entertaining for any press conferences having to translate that.
Agreed.
Just legitimately constant.
Oh, I love it.
That would be enjoyable. And I will say R2D2 was one of my top picks.
Fair.
It's
All right,
better
Kyle.
than Marvin, which was my other one.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Okay, Kyle. Who do you want to nominate as our future robot overlord?
So I thought about like R2D2 and CP3O, CP3PO.
You good there, bud?
Nope. I thought about those, and then I thought about the latest like animation I watched that had an actual robot overlord from the Mitchells versus the Machines. the phone that's actually the overlord. I want that as the overlord because it's going to eject all the humans off into a black hole. Because the phone's tired of people just swiping and poking it.
And I was the goth kid.
Yeah. So you want them to be nominated because they want to throw humanity into a black hole?
No, because they're already a robot overlord.
What do I call this thing for the poll? Because I've never seen this, and this sounds awful. Do I just call it Black Hole Overlord, or like?
No. It's literally a cell phone.
Okay, so mass murder cell phone.
Built robots and is their overlord and has a plan for ejecting everybody off the planet.
Humanity.
Yep, it's great.
Hashtag yeet humanity.
Yeah,
I am using that now. It's going in the poll as mass murder cell phone. I don't care unless you can give me a name. That's what it's going in.
I've been looking. I'm looking for it.
All right. Is you.
That just leaves me. And my number one choice is still there, so I'm going to go ahead and take them. And that is Wall-E from Wall-E. One, it's got a lot of charisma, very likable, very cute, very lovable. Two, it's a down to earth robot. It's been down there doing real work. Yeah, for most of its existence, all alone. And most importantly, it's a robot that understands the importance of, preserving our environment for us humans. He's not gonna, mass murder us all. He's just gonna inspire us to be better. And that's why I vote Wally as our robot overlord. Wally would never eject us all into a black hole, Kyle.
Right?
For it, by the way, David. It's called
What?
PAL.
Okay.
It's called PAL.
Okay.
Of course it is.
Predictive algorithm learning.
Okay. Well, so we're gonna go ahead and
Black Mirror thing is this?
Right? I've never heard of it.
I'll just have my conscious downloaded into a robot and I'll be good.
Oh my lord. Oh my lord.
Well, take Kyle's choice if you want to betray humanity.
What? You can't win. Join them.
So with that, I'm scared to go into this. So how we're gonna work this one? Normally shenanigans is a bit longer, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna let the poll run and let people who come in vote, and we'll see who is our new robot overlord, and we'll announce it near the end. We're going into the next segment, which I have to give the normal disclaimer. We don't control this, we don't prep this, and the views and opinions discussed and expressed in Kyle's Chaos Corner do not meet or express the views and opinions of Let's Play Death Ray. We have no control over this or him, and I'm sorry. Kyle, what do you have for our poor guest? What are you subjecting her to?
So I just got just some questions. That's all. It's not so bad. It's going to be varying from various subjects that you like and stuff like that. We'll start off with something I figured as soon as I learned you liked about you volunteered for first and everything, I figured I'd like look up a few things because there were things I didn't know. So do you know the founder of First?
Dean Kamen.
Yep.
I've met him a few times, and I'm friends with his niece.
Dang.
Nice. That. Man.
I may have also been to his house. So
what?
Jesus.
Yeah, that's the thing.
At least
that's
a question David should have asked.
Wow.
Drop the ball.
You had the opportunity. I would just like to point out.
Yeah, but before we go on, Kyle, are we gonna have to fact check your trivia questions again? Or...
No.
Did you learn your lesson after last time?
No, these are literally questions I was researching the entire time we were looking around the.
Okay. Yeah. Same as Danica Patrick. Do we want to repeat of that?
Blame Google for that.
Oh God, Kyle.
These ones I actually went in and looked it up and made sure and verified with like 2 other sources.
Good job, Kyle. Good job. We're proud of you.
Like this one. Do you know the father of modern day robotics?
Ooh. I know the father of modern day robotics education is Woody Flowers, but that's not who you're looking for.
Nope.
Oh goodness.
I hope to God it's not the like obvious awful answer here.
Yeah, Dr. Robotnik, we're all thinking it.
That's my brain is stuck there too, and that's what I'm gonna go with.
Okay. It's actually Joseph Elgenberger. I'm saying his last name incorrectly. I'm 100% pretty sure.
Yeah, it's pronounced Eggman.
Yeah.
Elgenberger. Yeah.
Bro, you good there? You okay?
There's a little bit of lag.
In your brain.
It happens once in a while.
Oh man. All right.
All right. Do you know the 3 proposed laws of robotics?
I used to know them by heart, and now I'm blanking because it's a trivia show, and every time I'm on a trivia show, I blank at everything.
Oh, no. Me too. Me too. Welcome. It's absolutely true.
Isn't the one like something about not killing people or not? I feel like one of them's that something about not having them be fully aware, like an AI, about what they are or something. I don't remember the third one, and my cat's staring at me and giving me the dirtiest look right now from on top of my PC.
How
So I
dare
feel
you
even more
notice?
pressured.
You shall not be my robot slave.
Katniss doesn't like the idea of robots taking her place.
No.
That's very true. Or she just has determined that the PC is hers, and I'm not supposed to be the show because she needs treats.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Just smack that ham a few times and give me treats.
It's a very
Please
cat
don't
thing.
smack me in the face again. I just don't want to be smacked in the face again.
I'm a little sad I wasn't recording at that point.
Give me treats.
It was random too.
It was.
There you go. Give me treats.
Beg.
No.
Oh, okay.
There we go. There's the treat. There's the show.
That's right. Everybody watch the cat.
100%.
I mean, I'm fine with it.
So the first law of robotics is a robot may not injure a human being or through inaction allow a human being to come to harm.
Mm-hmm.
The second law, a human must obey orders given by human beings except where such orders would conflict with the first law.
You want to try that again, bud? You mean a robot?
Yeah, a robot.
Yeah, you said a human can't. I was like, wait a minute. I disobey orders all the time. What are you talking about?
A human.
Ah.
The robot must protect its own existence as long as such protections does not conflict with the first and second law.
I saw iRobot. Those are Isaac Asimov's laws, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're the proposed 3 laws of robotics. That's why I said proposed.
Right. I get it. I get it.
Okay.
Keep going. This is your time, sir.
What's the oldest known board game?
Oh goodness.
Hmm.
I feel like modern board games, it's Monopoly, and modern is being used very lightly here because it's super, super old. Are we talking about like the really like old games with like sticks and rocks?
No,
like
it's an actual board game.
actual board game.
Yeah.
I want to say Monopoly then, because that's from what the Great Depression.
So there's an older board game than even chess.
No.
He's
Right, chess. Chess is a board game too.
It is older than even that. I'm pretty sure I know what you're talking about. Are you talking about the Babylonian one, Kyle?
Yes. It's called the Royal Game of Ur.
Yeah. It's played with like tiles and stuff, and it has like little. It's kind of like chess, but not really, and it's got like little carvings.
It's like a simplified chess.
Yeah.
Is it older than Mahjong?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's like the oldest board game known to date was discovered in Babylon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the ruins of Babylon.
Yeah. They're not actually sure, like, it doesn't have a full rule set because it hasn't been played in so long. There's just like that they essentially just found like the pieces in the board and have tried to like piece it together.
Figured it out.
Yeah.
There's me using my history degree once a year.
Which is funny because I know the same thing about it, and I just watched the History Channel.
I knew it was I didn't know it was the royal game of
I didn't know its name, so
I know even like the basic setup of the board game, but not pieces.
I should have warned y'all that I'm not great at trivia. Like,
well, so the problem is we never know. Like, okay, you say that, but this isn't always a trivia thing. He Rorschach tested one of our guests basically. Like he showed him pictures and was like, "What do you think of this? What do you think of this? What do you think?" He does crazy stuff. One day we were talking about, sea cucumbers and some really inappropriate stuff that they do.
I gave a guy, he was a big fisherman, so I gave him various questions about, gave him like a set of facts and had him try guessing the creature. I told him it was either freshwater or sea. A saltwater living creature.
It's like a box of chocolates that's really bad. You never know what you're gonna get, but you won't enjoy it.
Here's something you might like. The last one I've got. What's the earliest known domestication of cats?
Oh, wasn't it?
Oh, there it goes again. Speaking of the devil.
How dare you?
That's the real answer. Never. I'm not domesticated.
Right? Yeah, she takes offense at your question, Kyle.
She does not like your question, apparently.
Well, let me rephrase it. What's the earliest known domestication of humans?
Yeah, right? Yeah.
I want to say, I feel like I was taught it was Egypt, but part of me wants to say in China for some reason.
So you're partially correct and partially not.
Okay.
In Egypt, the earliest known domestication of cats was 3,600 years ago. Even earlier than that, though, they find fossil domestication of cats over 10,000 years ago in the Middle East.
Oh. Okay. Huh. Today I learned. Though I think this one's arguing that that's not correct.
Yeah.
Well, she probably doesn't want to
cat humans, and you'd be right.
Yeah. We don't, they don't need us. We need them, and they know it.
Yeah.
This person feeds me. This person waters me. This person pets me. I am God.
All right. So is that your last question, Kyle?
Yeah, that was it.
Okay.
That was it.
Because we have poll results.
Yes, you do.
Our robot overlord is now R2D2.
What?
R2D2 is now officially the robot overlord, and we must all hail R2D2 canonically. As long as you don't talk about episode 1 or 6 or 7.
What you talking about?
6 is there. 6 is there.
Oh yeah, 6 is there. My bad. It's 7, 8, or no, 7, 9, 1, and 3.
2.
Katniss.
Two.
Katniss, please.
That's right. Poor cat. Poor Camilla.
Why are you so grumpy today? Oh, I guess it's because I wasn't home. Okay.
Aww.
Not enough attention.
Oh, well.
Clearly not enough attention.
That brings us to the end. As much as I don't want to end, this has been a ton of fun. You're an amazing human being. Why don't you please plug where we can find you and where everyone can find you?
So, I'm on the internet all over as Camillapanda. So, I've got TikTok, I've got Twitter, I have an Instagram, and then of course I'm on Twitch as well. YouTube is a hassle, so I'd have to provide the link because I don't have enough people to make it say Camillapanda at the end. It's just a bunch of letters and numbers trailing off. Yeah,
okay.
That's where you can find me. And I need to wait. I gotta do one more thing before we end this. Of course,
Uh-huh.
Honk.
All right.
Honk, honk.
I like the goose honk. I love it. Thank you very much. We appreciate you a ton for coming on, and this has been a ton of fun. I know I'll be talking to you again all the time in at least chats.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll see you around. These three or these two, I can't count. Who knows? Kyle has like two personalities. Occasionally. One of the other.
I only see one.
Yeah. But anyways, so that wraps up this portion of the podcast and everything, and we'll see you guys next time. What's up, guys? Thank you so much for watching the whole video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Click the little bell icon so you don't miss any more of these awesome chats. And if there's any streamers that you guys want to see on the show, DM us or leave a comment down below. We would love to talk to them, guys. Have a safe day. Be awesome. See you next time.